from Ruud van Nistelrooy. Obviously, his final game now in charge, interim charge of Manchester United. He's got a great thing going so far, doesn't he? What do we think about the job that he's done, but more importantly, the position he's in, because he doesn't really know?
I think it's a win-win for him. So if the team continue to struggle while he took over a team that was struggling, if he does well in that period, I think it's highly unlikely he will stay with the new coaching team. But on a personal note, he's not done himself any harm. Wherever he goes next as a head coach or whatever role he decides to do, it's been good media, good coverage for him, good story coming back to your old club. And the way he celebrated that goal was like he was still playing. It's good to see. But I think it's a little bit about what he's trying to give off for himself.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me feel old seeing someone that I grew up watching the Premier League now in the dugout as a manager. It's really, strange. But he's done a really good job. I think the issue for Manchester United is when you look at the teams above them in the table and what the teams that they would have perceived as their rivals a few seasons ago, their squad on paper just doesn't compete. And I think whatever they're going to try and achieve this season, I don't know if they have the quality of players to try and get above maybe a top six. So I think with Amorim coming in, I think that the club have to get behind him, the fans have to get behind him. It's great that he's got that win over Man City because the fans will be buzzing about that. I think there's an excitement, but there needs to be patience. And I think whatever role Ruud van Nistelrooy has or whatever the existing setup is there, I think there needs to be a sort of reality check about what the real expectations are for this team, what they can achieve, rather than expecting a new manager to completely magic up a really successful winning side, because this squad is, struggling.
Especially in the forward line. I think when Van Nistelrooy took charge of that first game, which they beat Leicester, right, in the Cup. So this is a rematch. And they won, I think, 5-2 was the final score there. They scored goals. That was great. But against Chelsea, they were still struggling to score. So it doesn't eradicate all of the problems that exist within the squad.
No, it doesn't. And then there's going to probably be a new style of play when he comes in. So he likes to play with back three, number 10s, sometimes a single forward. So the players are going to have to adapt and try and find different solutions to score goals. But there have been misfiring, it's not a secret. But he's going to have to try and steady the ship or improve it as much as he can. But probably next season, when he gets his foot in the door properly with his own players, I'm sure there'll be free-flowing, scoring goals like they did against Manchester City. They've just not been clinical enough, like opportunities like that. Minimum players of this standard should be hitting the target, forcing a save from the keeper, not ballooning it over the bar.
I think Manchester United fans are hoping he brings his own players with him, given what they saw against Manchester City.
Yeah, I think obviously people will be talking about Victor Gyökeres, who someone, Zesh, I know you'll know from watching him play at Coventry, is an unbelievable talent, and maybe not many people expect him to make the jump that he has been able to do in Europe. But I think it's just the quality. It's just the quality that they'll have to find. And he can only work with what he's going to be given there. But the next window will be critical.
Yeah.
What about Leicester? 1-1 against Ipswich last time out, and now they've got to face Man United.
It's going to be tough. I mean, for all the clubs that have come up, there's obviously a big gap, a big gulf. But you've got a manager that's been in the Premier League before, and I'm sure he'll be pragmatic in his approach to games. So they're not scoring lots of goals. Ipswich in this game here, they've obviously got a point. They probably would have expected to win. But there's no easy games in the Premier League, in any league. So I think if he can steady the ship a little bit and stay up, then he's done well.
Ruud van Nistelrooy's final game in charge of Manchester United before handing the reins over to Ruben Amorim is on Sunday, and it's against Leicester. We've been with both camps today. We will join Rob Jones, who has been with Leicester today, shortly. But first, let's head to Ben Ransom with Manchester United. Afternoon to you, Ben. And it's a question we've been asking. Has there been contact between Ruud van Nistelrooy and Ruben Amorim? And also, how much of an emotional match will this be for Ruud on Sunday?
Yeah, it is the question. Well, Ruud, obviously, last night after their Europa League victory over PAOK was asked this very question. He said he was going to check his phone, check whether he'd had a text or a phone call. Well, I think we can deduce from what we heard from Ruud van Nistelrooy at his news conference this lunchtime was that is yet to happen. As far as he's concerned, he is obviously preparing for this final match in interim charge, a period which he described today as being really special for him. Remember, he came back to the club in the summer as part of Erik ten Hag's coaching team refresh and has been given the reins to navigate United through this period while they wait for Ruben Amorim to take charge. They both are in charge of their respective clubs for the final time this weekend. Ruud van Nistelrooy taking on Leicester on Super Sunday and Ruben Amorim taking charge of Sporting against Braga. Then next week the Portuguese manager will be taking over and Ruud van Nistelrooy is still waiting to find out whether he plays a role in Amorim's future plans.
It was a special period, it is still, of course, and I called it an important period because I think it was important to get through the 4 games as good as we could. I think we've done very well so far, the players reacted very well in the games. So obviously the focus is now to build on that and show that on Sunday with the big game ahead and a massive 3 points that are there to win. And so, yeah, I don't know if it will be very emotional. I take it very pragmatic as well, although I'm very proud to be able to fulfill this. But we'll see how that will feel on Sunday. And other than that, there's not much more news than yesterday evening, where I think Ruben and I are both, in that sense, focusing on our teams and our games. He's focused on Braga and his team, and I'm focused on Leicester with my team, and see if things can come together in the near future.
And Ben, a win on Sunday, and Ruud van Nistelrooy would leave his interim role with a 75% win rate. Win, draw, win, win. Does he feel that he's handing over to Amorim, a club actually in better shape than when he took over 4 games ago?
Yeah, well, I think that is the general feeling. Certainly the mood has lifted. There's a sense of optimism around the training ground here at Carrington, around Old Trafford, that over those recent matches that Van Nistelrooy has taken charge of, he's carried himself like a manager. He's spoken, as you heard there, so eloquently, so confidently. He's certainly enjoyed this period. And if they do repeat that League Cup victory that he navigated last week against Leicester in the Premier League at the weekend, I think it'll be job well done, because they're into the quarter-finals of the League Cup courtesy of that victory last week. They're in contention again to make the latter stages of the Europa League after a much-needed win last night. They're first, by the way, as a club in Europe for more than a year. And then it was a very creditable draw in the Premier League against Chelsea a week ago. So from Ruud van Nistelrooy's point of view, of course, he's firmly focused on a crucial 3 points. And today he stopped short of saying that the club, the players have turned a corner, but he does get a sense that, you're right, momentum is at least moving in the right direction.
It's easier to manage a team that has won 2 of the last 3 and had a decent point at home against a good side. And the connection with the fans is there, and there's kind of this short good feeling that, you know, we can turn things round. That's what is happening at this moment. And of course, football being football, and especially in top flight football, the results are necessary, and the Sunday game in that is a big one.
Yeah, so it will be a big occasion for the fans to say perhaps another farewell to Ruud van Nistelrooy. In terms of the injury news from the news conference today, they are still assessing Ahmad after his match-winning performance at Old Trafford against PAOK last night. He went off with a knock, didn't he? So they're still hopeful he will be fit to be involved. We were here for open training, the first 15 minutes of the training session today, where we saw Luke Shaw back out playing with his teammates on the grass for the first time since his long-term injury. Remember, he's not played since February. This weekend, obviously, too soon for him, but he is at least back, and Lenny Yoro as well playing a part in that. So it feels as though injuries and the injury list is going in the right direction ahead of Ruben Amorim taking over. No Kobbie Mainoo, no Harry Maguire, though. They're both out for this weekend. And from Manchester United's point of view, from Ruud van Nistelrooy's point of view, 3 points, I think, are essential.
Thanks very much indeed for the moment, Ben. Let's get to United's opponents, shall we? And Rob Jones has been with Leicester City today. Hi there, Rob. So that EFL Cup defeat to Manchester United, you imagine it still must be pretty fresh in Steve Cooper's mind. I wonder, do you think it will affect his approach or not that much?
Afternoon, David. Well, I think for all the reasons that Ben has just spoken about, that EFL Cup tie certainly felt like a far more significant and important night for Manchester United than it did for Leicester, whose primary focus this season will be staying in the Premier League. Steve Cooper made 9 changes to his team that night. He pretty much altered the whole spine. Mads Hermansen had the night off in goal. Wout Faes didn't feature, neither did Harry Winks or Wilfred Ndidi. Jamie Vardy too. The likes of Steffi Mavididi and Facundo Buonanotte were both late substitutes at Old Trafford. So you would think we will see a far more familiar looking lineup for Leicester City this weekend when they go there in the Premier League, because there is absolutely no doubt about it. The main focus for Leicester this year, after being promoted last May, will be staying in the Premier League. And 10 points from their opening 10 games represents a pretty good start. You would say that in and around a point a game would be enough to keep Leicester City in the Premier League for a second successive season. But this is what Steve Cooper makes of facing Ruud van Nistelrooy and Manchester United at Old Trafford for a second time in such quick succession.
It was a League Cup game last time, and now it's in the league. I think that they've obviously got a few players back available than what they did 10 days ago, and maybe that makes a difference to their personnel on the pitch. But yeah, whenever you play, Manchester United, home or away, you're coming up against a team with some very strong players and really talented players, and it's very much something you have to be mindful. Like I said, whenever and wherever you play them. But we're looking forward to going there again. We're disappointed we only got the draw last weekend at Ipswich, and we want to get back on the winning trail. So next game is the one to look forward to, and we've had a really good week's training, real determination with the guys, and it is a little bit uncanny that we're playing them so you play the same opponent so quick in 10 days, but a game to very much look forward to, and that's what we want to do.
One of the things that you could praise about Leicester City this season is their resilience. They've taken 6 points from losing positions. Only 3 teams in the Premier League have bettered that: Manchester City, Tottenham and Aston Villa. And one of the keys to that has been Jordan Ayew, a signing in the summer, turned 33 in September, but has played his part in a couple of significant results. Firstly, a winning goal as Leicester came from 2-0 down to win at Southampton. And then last week, he applied the finishing touch to an excellent team goal to earn them a point against Leicester. And you would say that the results against the teams around them, the likes of Leicester, Ipswich rather, Southampton, Everton, who they've already drawn with as well, Crystal Palace, will be key to them staying in the division. Another of the summer signings that drew some praise from Steve Cooper earlier on today was Facundo Buonanotte, who's on a season-long loan from Brighton. There was a bit of analysis released earlier in the week from a Swiss company of the most valuable players under 21 in world football. Well, Facundo Buonanotte was 15th on that list. Steve Cooper admits there's not been a conversation. He doesn't know whether there will be as to whether Leicester would be able to explore keeping him on a permanent deal until the end of the season, but you certainly would expect him to feature at Old Trafford. And if Leicester can win at Old Trafford for the first time since 2021, then they'll go into the international break above Manchester United in the Premier League.
Hello, Manchester United fans. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gearing up for a thrilling showdown as Ruud van Nistelrooy prepares to lead the Red Devils into his final match as interim manager. Can he sign off with a bang? Let's dive into everything you need to know ahead of this crucial clash against Leicester City. Ruud van Nistelrooy, an absolute legend at Manchester United. From his incredible goal-scoring feats to now taking the helm as interim manager, has made quite the impact in a short time. With one last game before the international break, the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's take a quick look back at Ruud's record so far. He kicked off his interim reign with an impressive 5-2 victory over Leicester in the EFL Cup, followed by a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Chelsea in the Premier League. Most recently, he guided the team to a solid 2-0 win against PAOK Salonika in the Europa League. Not bad for a temporary manager, right? With these results, the Red Devils are looking to secure another victory against Leicester City in the Premier League this Sunday. A win would not only boost morale but also send Ruud off with a memorable farewell before Amorim officially takes over next week. Now, let's talk history. Manchester United has an impressive track record against promoted teams, winning 16 of their last 18 top-flight encounters. Since that shocking 4-1 defeat to Watford back in November 2021, they've been dominant against teams coming up from the Championship. However, it's been a rocky season for United overall. With just 12 points after 10 games, it's their lowest return since the 1986-87 season. And scoring only 9 goals so far? That's their worst tally at this stage since 1973-74. Something has to change, and fast. One shining light in this challenging season has been Bruno Fernandes. Under Van Nistelrooy, has netted 3 times, including 2 goals against Leicester in their EFL Cup clash. In fact, he has an impressive record against the Foxes for goals and for assists in just 7 starts. Can he deliver once again? Meanwhile, Leicester comes into this match with some momentum after snatching a last-minute equaliser against Ipswich Town. Their recent performances have been dramatic, with every away game featuring a result-altering goal in the dying minutes. Looking at their head-to-head stats, United hasn't lost to Leicester in their last 17 Premier League encounters, winning 10 and drawing 5. They've scored in every single one of those matches since that infamous 1-0 loss back in January 1998. Talk about dominance. Leicester has struggled at Old Trafford too, with just 1 win in their last 14 away games against United. They will certainly have their work cut out for them this Sunday. So what can we expect? The Opta supercomputer gives United a clear edge, predicting a victory in over 65 of simulations. Leicester's chances sit at around 16, with draws coming in at about 18.5. The odds are stacked in favour of the Red Devils. Ruud van Nistelrooy, a name that echoes through the halls of Old Trafford. This Dutch maestro not only thrilled fans with his incredible goal-scoring abilities during his playing days, but has now taken on a new role off the pitch. Recently, he opened up about his ambitions to one day manage Manchester United on a permanent basis. Since stepping in as interim manager after Erik ten Hag's departure, Van Nistelrooy has led the team through a challenging period. With 2 wins and a draw under his belt, including a historic 2-0 victory over Greek champions PAOK in the UEFA Europa League, it's safe to say has made an impact. That win against PAOK marked a significant milestone for the club, as it was their first victory in Europe in over a year. Talk about a comeback. Fans are buzzing with excitement, and pundits are taking notice. During a recent press conference, Van Nistelrooy expressed his desire to take the reins at Manchester United permanently. When asked about his ambitions, he stated, "Yeah, of course." He emphasized that joining the club as an assistant manager was a special occasion for him. He continued, "I had clear ambitions to manage him, still in that frame of mind to stay in that capacity. It's clear that while he's enjoying his role as an assistant under new boss Ruben Amorim, he has his sights set on something greater." But what does the future hold for Van Nistelrooy? With Amorim set to bring his own coaching staff from Sporting Lisbon, there's uncertainty about whether Ruud will remain part of the setup. His contract runs until 2026, but Sunday could potentially mark his second farewell if changes are made. As Van Nistelrooy prepares for what could be his final match in charge against Leicester City, he remains focused. "The players have reacted very well," he said. "The focus now is to build on that and show that on Sunday." Will it be an emotional farewell? Ruud says he'll take it pragmatically, but acknowledges the pride he feels in fulfilling this role. Fans are eager to see how this chapter unfolds. As we gear up for this crucial match against Leicester City, all eyes will be on Van Nistelrooy and his squad. Can they secure another win and send him off with a bang? What do you think? Should Ruud van Nistelrooy be given a chance to manage Manchester United permanently? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates on all things Manchester United. Until next time, keep supporting the Reds.